Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and raiders of all ages, to another installment of The Roundtable. I am your host, Ace Gonzo, or you can just call me Ace. What is The Roundtable, you may ask yourself? Well, it's a collection of content creators, big and small, that in the raid community that have gathered here to express their opinions on various different topics. Now, if you have missed any of the previous episodes, simply scroll down and to select from any of the topics that were discussed with many of your favorite content creators. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you can be up to date with the roundtable every single week. If you have any questions or simply want to recommend a content creator to come and join us on the upcoming episodes, please drop a comment down below, or you can find me on twitch.tv/ace_gonzo. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us tonight, and please enjoy the show. Hey guys, welcome to another roundtable meeting. Today we actually have 5 cast members, including myself, right? And we have, actually our topic is going to be player lifespan in game for Raid Shadow Legends. And of course, we'll get started with introductions. First and foremost, we have Cheepvodka, guys, joining us once again on the podcast. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Cheap.
How's it going, guys? This is Cheepvodka here, ready to get in and enjoy. I've been playing for a while and still going, so did me another YouTube video again recently, 30 seconds long. Go check it out. So
fantastic. So shout out to Cheepvodka, and of course on Twitch and in YouTube, guys. All right, number 2, we got for the first time Luther21. How's it going, Luther?
Good, man. Good. How are we doing?
Not too bad. All the way from Australia. Let
Yes,
us.
sir. It's currently midday.
There you go. Let us know a little bit about yourself. How long have you been playing? What are you? What are you all about?
I've been playing for a year and a half now, and I've been streaming for about 4 months. It started in January, so it's good. Game's good. We enjoy it. We enjoy the streaming. Glad I could be here. That's for sure.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Once again, we have JR Star 3. Go ahead and say hello to everybody, Jay.
Hello, peeps. It's here again. Thank you for having me, Ace. Pretty much you can find me everywhere: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, any name, any place like platform. JRStar3. I'm a tier 1 content creator, tier 1.5. Let's be honest. And pretty much I specialize in gear cleansing, building champions, and helping people progress in raid.
Cool. All right, and lastly, we have O'Toole 50.
Your local clan boss enthusiast in the house. Is nice to see you all.
Cool. So as you guys can see, we have a total of 5 cast members today in the round table. So let's get into it. And here we are, guys. So the topic is player lifespan in the game, and as you guys all have seen, Stu Gaming has left. That was the biggest topic of the week. Everybody had mixed feelings about it. That's not the topic that we're here to talk about. It's just basically overall lifespan. Like let's just break it down. Let's go around the table. Let's talk about why you enjoy the game. What makes it so special for you to continue to play as long as you have? I heard anywhere from 4 months playing the game all the way to 3 years. So we'll start off with Luther, new to the channel. If you can go ahead and let us know what you like about the game, what you don't like about the game. What is it that you always recommend to your viewers? Anything along those lines. And if is this a long life game for you, or are you going to be moving on from there? And I know it's kind of a big question to answer, but I know we'll it's a lot to talk about. So
Yeah, it is a lot of talked about, but a lot of it's all answered in the same sentence. You know what I mean? Like, do I see myself playing this game long time? If they can continue to produce new content, then yes, I will continue to play this game. You know, for me, the variety of content is what keeps me going and what keeps me in the game. You know, they added Doom Tower, then they added Hydra not long after, and like Hydra is a pain, but it is content, I guess. My biggest issue with this game is time. You know, if you want to like properly do everything in a day, it's a couple of hours at a time, and if you want to properly do Hydra, that's anywhere up to like 8 hours just to do Hydra properly for a week, which is stupid.
Well, what is it that you do like about the game, though? Like, what is it that draws you back into to playing it? Yeah.
The first thing that got me into the game was the aesthetics. I've never known another game, let alone a mobile game, to have like just the amount of different champions and aesthetics that the game has, and then the combat design. Most mobile gacha games are card-based games, which I hated because you stared at a card the whole time. But I'd rather look at like the actual character design, the animations, just the cleanness. There's always every round in a battle is different. You're not staring at the same content. Like you are technically when you farm, but it's not repeatedly the same. You know what I mean? Like every single wave, every single character is not the same.
Right.
So it's definitely the aesthetics and the variety for me.
Cool. What about you, O'Toole?
What was the question again? Sorry, I smoked a lot of crack today. No, I'm just kidding. So, what originally got me into the game was definitely the graphics, and kind of what keeps me around at this point, I guess, is probably a mixture of sunk cost and, I guess, enjoyment in the bit of the puzzle that it has. You know what I mean? Like, after you get things like using your variety of champions in the different ways that you do is fun and in different ways. A 3v3 arena, while most people may not like it, is going to be one of the only chances you actually get to use some of your more niche arena teams, because not everybody's geared to the gills on all three of their 3v3 teams. You know what I mean? You can bust out the seer comps, the man-eater comps, you know, your more fun stuff, and still win with it, and you know, and that's what makes it fun. So in my opinion, those are the things that I enjoy. Like, you know, so.
What do you not like about the game?
What do I not like about the game? How much people think about what they don't have instead of what they do have. You're always gonna have less than what you don't have in this game in your eyes. Like, even if you had a Kaimar, Duchess, Trunda, Heiji, you know what I mean? You'd be like, well, where's my Necrit? Where's my Ursuga? Where's my Yumiko? You know what I mean? Like, there's always gonna be something where you're like, well, why don't I have that? I could have had that. It'd be way more better than what I have now. And it's just, why? Just work with what you got. You'll get something eventually, or you're gonna spend a bunch of money and get it, or however, you know. So I think that's the one thing that upsets me about the game the most, and the amount of just fear of missing out that people have. Just play the game how you want. You know what I mean? Like, don't let Plarium influence you into thinking, well, if we just did 3 fusions back to back to back, you have to do every single one of them. You know what I mean? If you thought Nari wasn't a viable fusion for your account, because guess what? You're completing all of Hard Doom Tower, you're farming stage 21 faction wars in 2 minutes or less. You know that he doesn't do anything for your account. Like, you don't have to do that fusion. You know what I mean? But you don't have to complain that there's something for other people to do. What if they didn't do the Corrado fusion and now they want to do this fusion? You know what I mean? Like, even though there's a very rapid cadence of events, that does not mean you have to participate in every single one. This is a big thing that I see a lot.
And you've been playing this game for how long?
6 months.
6 months, and I think you summed up a lot of the content, or a lot of people's thoughts in the content that they've been dropping in recently. But I mean, we're gonna continue on and we'll revisit that one, because that's a really good topic, or at least a really good view on a topic, right? So let's go over to Cheap, and let's listen to what he's got to say about what he likes about the game, what he doesn't like about the game. And how long have you been playing, Cheap?
Hey guys, so I've been playing for about 3 years. I started not long after the Santa Fusion. Hell, it may have been going on when I was here. I didn't know much about fusions back in the day. They didn't pop up onto the screen to let you know. Any pop-ups that showed up, I was too scared to look at because I wasn't spending money on the game, so I just figured they were trying to take my money. So I didn't even pay attention that fusions were in the game until Torment came out. So that was quite a while of stuff I missed. But the things I like graphics, definitely. Like what was it? Jr. was saying
Luther.
Luther, yeah, Luther. That's right. We ain't made it to him yet. The graphics of this game are phenomenal. It's one of the best looking games I've seen. You know, and character design is great. There's, unlike other games that I've seen similar, there's not that many, for as many champions there are. There's not that many characters that are basically reskins of a different character. You know, we do have a few, but not nearly that often. So I've always found that to be pretty cool. And then more so than that is the builds, right? The building the champions. That's where I really love. It's just the idea of going in and completely building from scratch. And you know, one person's like Mashald could be totally different than somebody else's Mashald, or somebody's Sir Nick could be different than this Sir Nick, and they can do different things based on how the person builds it, and it more so than the champion's kit. So that's one thing that I just really like about it. So,
what do you not like about the game?
What I don't like about the game is how, I would say, infrequent a lot of content comes out, and then when it's mostly the company, right? They don't listen nearly as much as they should. You know, in our opinion, Hydra is not that good. And there's been voiced concerns, and instead of looking to fix it, they've seemed to double down. I know they said there's some kind of nerf coming. We'll see what that ends up being. But yeah, it's like, and that's just like one of the main things to me is just they take too long to listen to their community. So
makes sense. Jay, what do you got to say?
So in terms of things that I like about the game, yeah, building is one of the best things. I mean, look at how many artifact sets we have in the game. Most, you know, when it comes to building, is like, here's like maybe 9-10 different builds, right? But you can mix and match the artifact sets, which is really cool, right? I wish they would add different like numbers if they weren't all 4, so we could add even more. But you know, that comes with balance. But for me personally, being a professional, I played Pokemon TCG and Yu-Gi-Oh! Very professionally. I was doing like tournaments and stuff, and we'd go to regionals, and doing that, like the amount of, you wouldn't believe how many actual like decks and cards I've like bought, or like money that I spent on, invested. And people used to think, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. Like, it's just paper. I was like, no, but it's the creativity and just like playing through the matches, seeing that. So when it comes to raid, I think the same thing. It's like, I build this champion, this person might build him straight crit damage or savage, but I might even be troll and put him like swift parry or something else. Like, it's that flexibility to build your way is what makes raid, for me, fun. You know, I've been doing like totally this past month, I've been doing champions I would never build, right? Epics I would never do. Deathless, Chitinal, Tauros, 3 Soul Drinkers. Like, I've been just doing totally non-meta stuff, and I've been having so much fun doing that now. It's actually giving me like I guess you could say a love for raid, instead of just back then, or I say midway, where you're just farming and doing cycles and having to do all this, like keep up with all the news. Now I feel like I'm getting back to what I originally fell in love with raid in the first place. In terms of things I don't like about raid, yeah, I mean, there's always, you know, I love the community because, you know, like, that's why we're doing this, right? So I love the people in the community. They've always supported me, and they always support. If they like you, they do. If they don't like you, though, they also go against everything you think about. Oh, you did this? Oh, not good enough. That's trash champion. Like, they really get kind of like hive mind. Like, if someone says it's trash, like when I was doing Vlad, no one believed me, right? That it could be possible, that it could be okay. Now here they're like, nah, he's the worst. So I mean, that's just that, and I love that. I guess that's another thing I love is proving people wrong that you can actually do something and make it good. But that's one thing I don't like is that sometimes they don't like they don't think out the box. Sometimes they follow what people say, like, oh, this person said it, so it must be good. You know, it must be top tier. That's one thing that kind of like hurts me. Another thing, not content. You know, back then, Plarium wasn't releasing that much content. Now, they gave us they took a long time to listen to us. Plarium, you know, was more about them because every time what they did was they gave us a bone, we grabbed on, and we always complained about the opposite. Oh, we're not getting enough. You know, Rena's too easy, so they made it harder. Now it's too hard. Got to put bots. Okay, not too hard. Let's take out the bots and put it back to normal. Oh, I can't. New players can't get there. Okay, let's just now Rena's crazy all over the place. You know, so like they're always trying to do their best because they really do. They put out like Facebook stuff. Now they're trying to get to Twitter. They're really trying to expand. So a lot of companies don't even care about the community. They just do whatever they want. If you don't like it, you don't like it. So they try, but sometimes they'll do things that is a little bit shady in terms of like bringing out guaranteed champion or maybe like a pack, and they made everyone blow everything like that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had like a double X for every shard. Then boom, 2 days later, oh, this thing you wanted? Well, we already know you went crazy on the 2x because we've never done that before. And then boom, they like it's a 10x for Civi, something like you're like, oh, what the? That's the only thing that I feel is a little bit bait with them, and that upsets me. I wish they didn't do that as much, but that's a business thing. But other than that, those are the only two things I can think. I actually love Raid. There's not a lot of bad. I mean, if they could update masteries, maybe once a year would be nice, so we don't look at the same exact things or balance them up. But other than that, everything's pretty good. They're releasing more champions than ever. They're releasing more content. They gave us Dupe System. They gave us Hydra. They finished their roadmap. They're on the right direction. I thought second year was pretty crazy, right? We're introducing a new clan boss, new factions, Hydra. Even though it's not as good as we want, I understand. But they always add RNG. That's just how these kind of games are. But with content creators and new champs, people are starting to see that's normal and hard is not that hard. I mean, you can use epics. People are doing pure epics and one legendary now. So hopefully within a few months, you know, with gear and time, we'll get to brutal. But for now, most people are stuck on hard. But those are my, you know, pros and cons with Raid and why I love and hate him. So
I mean that was a big mouthful for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but that summarizes a lot of for fuck. I mean, 80% of the population for Raid. My personal opinion, I've been playing the raid for almost 2 years now. I've been kind of on both sides of the fence as far as you know, if I like it, if I don't like it. I think that what drew me in, what I've really liked about it is a lot of the stuff that you guys mentioned as far as the graphics and everything, the gearing, just the different variations, but also the challenges that this game brings. There's so many walls to climb over, right? Like there's so many hurdles, and it's just a never-ending loop. I mean, of course, once you get, you know, a nice push, or you know, videos come out with content creators or something along those lines, then you figure out ways to jump those hurdles. Otherwise, I mean, you're kind of just stuck there, right? But I mean, there's always a challenge, no matter what. There's always something new. There's always something different. That's really what I liked about it. What I don't like about it, and the reason why I've been on both sides of the fence, is the amount that they push for spending. And trust me, I'm not here to judge anybody on how much they spend, or if they spend, or if they don't spend. And that's a personal choice, and a personal you know, decision at the end of the day, right? Because it really is. But I don't like the spending part of it, because it's just like Jay said, there's so many like bait stuff that they throw in, like so much RNG with the rolling of the gear, the ores now. It just like continuously just like overburdening people with everything that they do to keep, or to not have to, because you never have to, but they definitely, like, I don't know, I that's just part of it. I understand it's a business. I'm not a fool for that, but at the same time, the money that's being invested into the company from the people spending the money, we don't see that return, or at least I don't think we see that return. I wish we would see more out of the money that we invest into something that we enjoy as players. Even if we do, we do spend, we're enjoying it, and because we're getting some return on it, even if it's not the Siffy or the Krisk or the whatever the heck that we decided to get baited for. We get something in return, new content, better skins, etc., etc. But yeah, I mean, the table is open, guys. Let's keep this conversation going. You guys already had a lot of good input.
Definitely think, going back to the earlier point of fear of missing out on events. I remember when I first started, like my first sort of 6 months to 8 months, I maxed out every event, I maxed out every tournament, I pulled every 2x, I pulled every 10x. I did invest a lot of money when I first started, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. Do I regret it? Slightly at times, but there was that fear of, like, I had to get that epic book from the Dragon tournament, even though I didn't want to farm Dragon. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of new people are really, like, not pressured, but they pressure themselves into wanting to do these events to max them out because they don't want to miss out on any freebies per se. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Absolutely. Well, one of the very common problems that you see with people that have early accounts, you know what I mean? You have a book problem, right? Let's say, take legendary books, for instance. You pull your very first legendary, you likely can't finish booking them. You can probably get them about halfway with what you can get from campaign and what they originally give you, you know what I mean? Let's take Ninja, for instance, but you can't even put your Ninja into a clan boss tune until you have him fully booked. Well, maybe you should save your resources, do less events, and just do one event that gives you a legendary book or two. You know what I mean? Whether that be a summoning event with your ancient shards, a couple training events, you know what I mean? So you have people only going part way up in every single event, never getting those top rewards even. They're not even getting the epic book from Dragon anymore, or the Lego book from Champ Training, like I mentioned. And so now they think they're helping their account, but they haven't actually gotten the one thing that they really need. You know what I mean? Your very first Lego is just a great example because it will likely impact your account exponentially over any other champion, especially if you're investing books into this champion. Hopefully it's not a Tila, to be honest. as much as some people love her, but like there are things like that you can do where doing less gives you more in the end, so like on my ult, I'm only killing clan boss, basically. That's like where all my gear is, but long term I'm killing, I'm two King Ultra Nightmare, one King Nightmare, you know what I mean? But I can't even farm stage 20 potion keeps. So it's like long term being in that situation is better than taking my gear off clan boss and putting it elsewhere, you know what I mean? So now I've got to focus on events that help me progress to now get my arena team built, which is I have a warlord at 190 speed and 100 accuracy. Like, you want to disrespect one of the best champions in the game real quick, so now I can shift my focus to that. Even though there's an Ice Golem tournament going on, I need dragon gear. I don't need to farm Ice Golem just because there's an event going on, even if I can get that epic book, all the gear that I get along the way is going to be completely useless until I get X away into the game, Same thing with, like, say, Fire Knight. You have people farming earlier stages than they should be, all the time. If you can farm stage 13 Fire Knight or stage 20 Dragon, like, you should be spending about 0 time in Fire Knight because you're going to not have any gear from it that you can actually use. You're better off using offset 6-star pieces that you got from Dragon. Not to just hog the room.
No, I like it, man. I like it. What do you think, Jay? Or Cheap?
You can go.
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to keep myself muted while stuff was going on around the house. Yeah, sorry. My family's around, so things happen.
Hey, we understand.
So yeah, I've been popping my mute button on and off the whole time. But yeah, talking about the fear of missing out stuff. Like for one thing, I noticed that came out. Everybody's seen that little tricky thing that they did with that new champ that they released, guaranteed champ. Pop him into the game real quickly, and all of a sudden, oh, can't be summoned from shards, but don't tell anybody the reason why. And it was just because they didn't want anybody summoning before the event come out. Yeah. And the video, like MTG Jedi popped out a video real quick about, oh, if you don't get him right now, you won't ever get him again. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't put Polarium past fear of missing out type behavior. I mean, Ninja was that way, Alexander. They're going to do that kind of stuff all the time, right? But if you're going to market a FOMO type idea, then you need to let everybody know that there's FOMO in it, right? Or they're not going to fear it if they don't know it's there. If you just kind of sneak it in. So I was like, there's no way, because I had people in clan chat be like, "Oh my God, should I get it? This is the only chance you get to get it." And I'm like, no, that's just no way that's going to be possible. Because if it was, they would advertise that. Just a couple people just happen to notice you can't pull him. So, but I thought that was kind of stupid of Polarium. Why did he have to be added to that list in the first place? Just to be put into the game. And I mean, he doesn't even seem all that great. But it's just play the game the way you like to play it. Like lately, I haven't finished a tournament. I haven't finished a event in a while. I did the last fusion for Gaius the Gleeful. I'll probably do the fusion for this new guy, but I'm not really would say, when I do tournaments, I get to the point that I want to get and not really worry about pushing it all the way that much. So, but I guess that's about it for that.
What you got, Jay?
In terms of
FOMO,
Rafmatab? Oh, FOMO?
Oh, I mean, you can add Rafmatab in there too.
In terms of FOMO, yeah, people. I mean, I don't really miss any, so personally, it doesn't really affect me because I go for every single one. I've learned my lesson from Skull Lord Vargol. I was like, everybody was, at the time was like, oh, it's a, trash champ, and I was like, in my head, I was like, are you sure? Like, I know the cooldowns are bad, but his stats look pretty nice. That's when I first started learning, looking at stats when building a champion, not just their kit. And everyone was like, yeah, he's troll. It's an April fusion. You can tell by the champs you need are all trolls. It's all Drakes, all Skull Scorns. It's got to be troll. It's not good. And then people started using him in Platinum Arena resets and defense. And when you look at overall, he just got nut stats for no reason. And then they buffed him now, so people are pulling him out the vault, right? So, and when I lost Brogni 2, which is infamous, right? I was like, never again. If I have to spend 1,000, I will. If I care about the champion, if I think the champ's trash, I'm gonna tell people, hey, look, you don't have to don't go for it. But I went for Nari because I believed in Nari. Did Nari reach my expectations? I'd probably say I was looking at a 9 out of 10. Now for me, it's like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. So, but that's you live and learn. Bivold, in terms of FOMO, people are saying he's not good, and Rafmatab, they're both no. I think they're both in their own respect. They're decent for whatever you're wanting to do, but like Ulto said earlier, depending on your account, you have to make the decision. It doesn't matter if it's gear or champ. Some people just don't need this champ. If you already got top end champs, would you even go for this? You save your resources for something else, for CVC or anything like that. But people are scared. Look what happened with Washaled. Draco, it was trash. They got buffed, became top 10. Draco Gate and the whole thing with Washaled would have never happened. But that's why I like to go for everything, just to have that extra, because you never know what you want to build. So,
but even you just mentioned resources, but isn't pulling champs, especially legendary champs, one of the biggest gains that you can get in CVC?
Yeah, but I mean, typically speaking, you're not pulling shards during CVC.
No, but if I have a fragment champ sitting in the portal waiting for me to pop them, wouldn't that give me more points than running 20 runs on Spider or something like that?
mean, that's not a comparable thing at all because you're not using the same resources. That's the difference. Like, I guess you can say is using your shards during the fusion, say 6 sacreds and maybe some voids for that summon rush that you had to finish because the fragments were at 3,500. You know, like when you talk about stuff like that and you compare that to what you could have gotten during a CVC, I think it's still very comparable. The chances of you pulling Lego out of 6 sacreds, even on a non-2x, is fairly reasonable, to be honest. I've done it quite a few times. I'd say it's a pretty achievable thing. You got to get a little lucky. You're under like drop rate, obviously, but when you compare that to the 30,000 points that you'll get, I think the fusion far outweighs it, head and shoulders. You know, because you know you're going to get a Lego with 6 sacreds. That's the difference. And then you also know what Lego you're going to get. That's the other part of it. You know, when you pull on things like 2x, you could pull Pixniels and Rorix and, you know, stuff that you could use in faction wars. In Rorik's case, you know, is a great example. He's a great champion at what he does, but he just doesn't have a place where he's useful because none of the bosses require that mechanic that he has. And so when you have so many champs in the game like that, it makes it even more makes more sense to then go for these champs that are guarantee summon events. You know, we're seeing a lot of those with Ancient Sacreds and now Avoid Lego for the first time, and fusion events. There are a lot of more, the closer to end game you get, I think the more you should only be pulling during guarantee and fusion events. You know, 2x becomes very, you know, voids I think are the one thing that you should always pull on 2x, basically no matter where your account is, unless you're an absolute kraken. And even then, voids are so expensive, you want to get the most Legos you possibly can out of them. So like, unless you're right next to pity, you're not pulling voids on a 10x even as a kraken most of the time, or they'll pull till 1 Lego. Like, I've seen that too. It's kind of interesting.
I think since I've started streaming, the one thing I've told the community is every time a new fusion comes up, I give my thoughts on it. And the first thing I say after I give my thoughts is, if you have the resources, go for it. If you don't have the resources, don't push yourself and your bank account to get it. If it's not like a good, you know, if it's Brogni, you know, Brogni was arguably one of the best fusions we've had in the last year. I'm like, you know, go for that. When it come to Gaius, I was skeptical at the start of Gaius, so I said, look, it is a fragment, so you can keep it. That's 30,000 CVC points. That's fantastic. If you've got the resources, go for it. If you're burnt out and you don't have, you know, you don't have the gems, you don't have the energy, you don't have the shards, don't stress yourself. You know, I find when I stream, I got people coming in and they're like, oh, I'm going to miss this event and I'm going to have to win this one. And people get so stressed about trying to get these things that they often aren't progressing their accounts because they're too focused on trying to get this one new legendary that they might use for this niche little corner of the game. If you feel what I mean. So I'm always telling
Absolutely.
people, just if you can do it, do it. If you can't, don't stress yourself over it.
Absolutely. I think it's so many people forget that, you know, like your account progression is what you make it, you know. So if you want to let Plarium drive you, they're gonna push you to spend money. You know what I mean? They're gonna make you feel like you're never caught up, no matter what you do. You know, if you buy books, you buy shards, you buy energy, like you're always gonna be behind in some way, shape, or form unless you do it all. You know what I mean? You buy shards, for instance. None of those champions you just pulled are gonna be booked. Not a one. You could pull 500 shards, and you might book 1 or 2 if you haven't bought books yourself. So you definitely need to match your, like I was mentioning, like with the Ice Golem and Fire Knight tournament, like you need to match what your account needs to do right now. You know, if that fusion is gonna then impact your account more than this 3,000 energy in Ice Golem today, maybe you should go for the fusion. You know what I mean? But for instance, Nari cost me 6,000 energy, but Gaius cost me 12. there was absolutely no breaks in Gaius whatsoever. Most fusions I spend a lot of money, but I don't have a problem spending money, but I don't want to spend money on fusions, I guess. I don't know. This is like one of the things, because I'm going out of my way to do a lot of events that I feel like my account doesn't really need. Like, I don't mind spending money if I'm farming Fire Knight or Spider or something like that. Like, I'll just throw $40 and farm that week, it's fine. But when I'm spending this on champ training and then dragon and then ice golem, and then I sell all of the gear and keep one piece out of 12,000 energy, like, out of a dungeon I don't even farm yet, like, it should be very easy for me to get 6-star rare resist gear that I can keep, but I don't get it and stuff like that. So it's a very poor investment for me as a whale on that end. I don't want to waste my actual money that I get either. So I'm always trying to plan the most free to play route for me to complete the fusions, and that helps me help my friends when they ask me, hey, I think I'm gonna miss this fusion, and then I tell them, no, you've got 6,000 extra energy just in the daily refill that you get in your daily quests. So I mean, don't stress yourself, you're gonna get it. Just stay on top of it, and to have that reassurance for some of my friends is nice as well. So you got to do your math if you're gonna do a fusion as well. If you've got to get 2,500 points, which is the average for like a dragon tournament or an ice golem event, plan 3,000 energy for that event. How am I gonna get that 3,000 energy? And that's only if you're farming stage 20. If you're farming less than stage 20, you're probably gonna need like 4,000 to 4,500 energy for each of those events. So you need to plan around that, whether you need to win a tournament with that, or how much energy you need to spend to win that tournament to help you win your fusion.
I think we've gone like super deep into FOMO, but like I'm sure we all get it. Like, as far as how to plan on getting certain champs and stuff like that. But I guess the question becomes, how does that push somebody to want to quit the game? Too many champion training events, too many fear of missing out, fear of this, fear of that, no progression. Like, how do we get from I enjoy loving the game to fuck this game, I'm not playing this no more, like, I'm done?
For one thing, the main thing I've always looked at is the distance between fusions. Like we were just saying in chat, it's new fusion starts next week, and we just finished one, and it's been 1 week. And I think they're trying to get to their first, because of the war stuff, they're trying to get back to where their fusions would generally start, and that's why they're doing this. But even before, I thought it was just too quickly. There's basically you get 2 week fusion, 2 weeks off, 2 week fusion, 2 weeks off or something. And I feel like there should be a month between fusions. The tournaments and stuff, all of that, they can always have something like that go on. But why can't we get like a whole month between each fusion? Give us time to farm other stuff. Like, I need to get in Minnow real bad. Here I go. Got to go into a fusion again. So.
Is that just you having fear of missing out, though?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, well, like, how many of the previous fusions did you do? Like, why do you have to do this one?
Yeah, I've only done one this year, I do believe. But I'm saying for anybody, right? Anybody that wants to do them. So, let's see. I made 45 shards on Nari. Pardon, I only got to 40. And then the Fox Hunter guy, Kratos, whatever his name was, I ended up pulling him during the first summon rush. Like, as soon as he started, I was starting his fusion, and I pulled him. And I said, well, I'm going to save my energy and go do other stuff. I'm not going to worry about his fusion then. So yeah, this guy was the first one I did. But I'm just saying, for me, I've got a good account. I've got champs all over the place. I can complete anything I need to complete. I don't need to do him. But other people I know are pushing for these every time they come up, and I just feel like it's too much. I was doing it last year, and it was stressing me out. So now I've just backed off.
I definitely feel like the grind is half the reason people quit this game. You know, I got people coming in and they're like, yeah, man, I've been playing this game 10 days and I'm loving it. And then, you know, they'll be in your stream for a month and then you just never see them again. And I've had people come back and they go, look, I'm quitting. I'm getting sick of doing the same thing week in, week out. You know, I can farm 12,000 energy, like you said, and only keep one piece. You know, it's just not on. And then, so they quit because it's just, there's so much RNG and there's so much content you've got to do repeatedly just to make it far that the people don't want to stick around for such a long grind.
So what I've noticed is seeing the game for almost 3 years. Basically, it's very similar to what you were just saying. People basically don't want to. Back then, the grind was a little bit simpler because there wasn't as much content. So then player was like, all right, cool. You know, 2x's and there was no such thing as 10x. So it was spread out. So when 2x came, people were like, what? It's back? You know, 3 months later, you're like, I'm ready, right? And it's super hype. This is where the it's gonna come full circle. The whole hype from shards came from because it was so long disparity of time. So then people were like, we have to watch these void shard shard pulling videos. Then when they introduced 10x, people were like, bait, right? But then people started seeing people actually getting them. They're like, oh man, there actually is a chance, even though it's like very slim. And then with champions, they were not doing, you know, that there weren't that many fusions. There was no such thing as fragment summons, right? We just had only fusions. And usually fusions were very hard. So if you weren't pulling a champion during that 3 month of disparity of the shards, right? You were like, man, I have to do the fusion because I'm not getting any new champions, right? I'm just building my epics or rares and maybe a few Legos. But that fusions was that opportunity. And you know, sometimes not every single fusion was either super hard or like a lot in terms of a lot of resources, or it wasn't what people liked. People were like, not broken, not gonna be, you know, not gonna be no warlords if you. So people were like, no, we're not gonna do it. Now you have everything. You have fragment summons, fusions, you have 10x, 2x, you have so much to do. They're trying to add multi-battles and stuff with, basically I've noticed is people have come back, like he was saying, come back and gone because it's too much of a grind. But I always tell people, why are you playing? Are you playing the game because are you trying to, kind of like it's like I want to be part of the race. Like my fellow content creator is doing this, and I'm watching them, and I want to be part of their lifestyle. Or you know, maybe I watch them on Twitch or YouTube, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want the whole FOMO comes back because I don't want to be that person who doesn't have it and they have it, and they're doing all these crazy builds. They want to be part of that fun, right? And so that what ends up happening is as months go on and they work and work and work, or maybe even maybe they don't want to spend money at all, but they have to spend each time for each fusion, which is slowly hitting their pockets. And they're like, whoa, I went from not spending to now spending because I'm trying to keep up with this content creator or this, you know, in raid. And that hurts them. And they eventually, either two things happen. Either one, they're like, I'm just going to stick with this even though I don't like doing it. Or two, man, I'm gonna just leave and go, instead of spending my money, right, I'm gonna go spend my money on something else that's gonna give me a better return, you know. Or maybe they have not enough time, and instead of using that time to get more money or something that they want, they have to invest into raid, and that doesn't equate to their experience in raid. Like, okay, cool, I got the champion, I spent three weeks, but I can't book it, I don't even have gems. Maybe you're free to play, so you can't even get that. You spent all this time to get the champ, but then you can't even use the champ to the fullest potential. You feel like you're missing, you know, that's another part that people miss out on. Me, yeah, that's happened to me, where I've literally, you know, got for a champion, I was like, man, like Nari, like I got him, I was happy, like let me book him. I was like, did I have to book him? Wasn't a priority. I could have booked candy, right, my vaulted candy or something else, and it would have given me more value. But I really wanted to try out a champion because that's what I get from the game, is the game itself, not everything else. People sometimes get blinded from everything else and not what the game's about. So that's for me why people leave personally, is because they fall into raid because of the hype, the community, or because of the graphics, and then they weren't really in love with the game. They were in love with other aspects of the game, and then they realize, well, it's not worth. I'm not going to keep wasting my time.
Yeah, you basically just said exactly what I was just thinking, where like if you're playing this game and you enjoy it for the challenges, or you enjoy it for the graphics, I mean, the graphics only take you so far, but you know, that race that you were just talking about, that really what's pushing people to the brink of saying, I'm done.
I think it's most of people not getting returns for their investment, whether that's your time or your money or a mixture of both, right? You know, if you're putting time into something, you want to get enjoyment out of it. You know what I mean? If it's not returning you enjoyment through X, Y, or Z, why do you continue to do it? I think that's the biggest reason people leave, honestly. Some people, it's the shard pulls, you know what I mean? But that's the enjoyment that you're trying to get out of the game, is having that one champ you don't have, you know what I mean? But you're always going to have that champ you don't have. That's kind of how the game's made. So, you know, you just gotta be real with yourself. At the beginning of the day and the end of the day, like, is what I'm doing actually giving me what I want?
Yeah, you bring
the
up a
truth,
good point.
anything.
I think
Go ahead.
you go.
Okay, what I was about to say is, so a thing that I've noticed, like I've been part of a bunch of the Facebook groups for a long time, and you know, stuff comes out, 2X comes out, and people post what they got, and they're like, "Oh, I got this shitty champ. Oh man, I got like recently, the last time I got a lower champ for it," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sweet. I didn't have him before. You know, I can make some use out of this guy. Like, he's a solid champ. Sure, he's not the best in the game." But then I go look on Facebook and this guy's got pops up like, "Well, he's new, but God, what a shitty champ." You know, and they got lower champ for it. I'm like, well, we got two totally different ideas here, because the dude's actually good. You know, is that the thing that it just seems to bother me is when people just pull these champions, and I get it. There's some of them that are not that good, but they have some use. A lot of them have use at something, and why does it always have to be that Draco? Why does it always have to be that Comor that you want? And why do you got to get upset when you don't get it? Now, if you go and pull your fifth Skull Lord, okay, I get it. That kind of sucks. But at the same time, don't be upset with every champion you get just because he's not the best in the game. So many champions have so many good uses. So, but yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I was just gonna bring up what Aizen said in chat. Another streamer, he raid takes a lot of time. Going back to like the first point I brought up, if you want to do everything in this game, just the basics, not even, you know, farm your dragon for the day, it's a couple of hours, 2-3 hours of your time that you need to carve out. A lot of it, I get, you can do idly, you can do it in the background on you if you play on computer, but Raid is primarily a mobile game. So you need to find that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours that you can have your phone open and be on your phone to do it. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people have families, a lot of people work full time. On weekends, people like to go out, but instead you're stuck at home doing champ training, for example, if you're just a mobile player. So time is definitely a big factor, I think, in why a lot of people quit.
Yeah, but what happens to those people that have invested so much of their time? For instance, like Final Kenpachi has been playing this game since day one, and has invested so much time free to play, and now he's stuck playing this game. Like, there's definitely zero. I mean, well, not necessarily zero return on his investment, but after he's done, he's not going to get anything out of it. Like, just like nothing.
That's why you have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You just got to cut your losses. You know, I played another game before this for 10 years. I invested an amount of money we're not going to talk about, and then it ended up just dying. The developers cut the game. You know, I didn't want the game to end, but the game did end. You know, the game was no longer a thing. So it's one of those things of I had that self-reflection for like 3 months of what do I do with my life now, because I can't play this game. I guess when you get to the point where Kenpachi is at, he's like, yes, he's stuck playing it, but he can also go, all right, well, I cut my losses and that's it.
Well, let's talk about the opposite. Somebody that's been playing for a long time, spending so much money in game, so much on their investment. Like, where do you cut your loss at that point?
When you feel like you're not getting returns for your investment.
Yeah, you need to understand when to quit. Everybody's got to learn that. Like from the casino business that I've been in forever, it's enjoyment. It's not what you're putting your money into is your enjoyment. When you're putting your money into something and you're not enjoying it, then you need to go ahead and let go. And that's been my opinion with casino business forever. When I got somebody sitting there playing blackjack and all they do is complain, and you're spending hundreds of dollars and you're doing nothing but complaining, you shouldn't be here. Just go find something different. Put your money somewhere else. Find something that makes you happy. If the game doesn't make you happy, then don't put your money into it. Cut your losses and go away. You know, find something that makes you feel better. So
and you know, when you begin, you know, whether investing your time or your money, make sure both into something, like, you should understand what you could possibly get out in the very end of it. You know, Raid is very upfront with, you're getting 0 back. Okay, like your account will be what it is, and that's it. You know what I mean? There's no trading champions, there's no trading gear in this game, you know what I mean? Your account is what it is. So when you come into the game knowing that, why are you investing more than you're willing to lose? You know what I mean? And it sounds very business term like, you know, but it's the same thing with any hobby. You know what I mean? Why are you gonna pay to be miserable? You know, like, even if you're bad at it, like, why are you gonna pay to be miserable? That was one thing that I learned very quickly with golf. You know, I'm not very good at golf. I enjoy golf, though. You know what I mean? So why am I gonna be upset that I'm not a pro at golf? You know what I mean? Why am I going to be upset that I hit a super scuffed shot? You know what I mean? Laugh it off. Have fun with it. You know what I mean? You're out there hitting the golf ball. You know, it doesn't, not everything has to be to that top end perfection, you know, but you just get what you want out of it. You know, don't let other people, whether that be Plarium, your friends, Twitch groups, YouTube videos of shard pulls or whatever, influence you to invest either your time, your patience, anything else where you don't want it. You know what I mean? You don't want to do your faction wars every day because you don't give a shit. Don't fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, one of our good friends, BTN, like, he doesn't really care about the game. You know what I mean? He plays the game, but like, he doesn't care. Like, cool, he progressed this and that and this, and he had whatever to do it, but he's not like actively every single day hard thinking out a plan on how he's going to progress his account, because it's not how he enjoys playing the game. And that's fine. He doesn't need to be how min-maxy everybody else is, and that's why you get people that come in and like, well, you're not doing it the way that I'm doing it, so you're doing it wrong. You're telling me I'm enjoying my time wrong?
Yeah, but everybody has their own roadmap.
Right, exactly. You can't just interject on somebody else's and be like, well, you're enjoying life wrong. You know that?
Yeah.
You should definitely get drunk with me right now. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna force somebody to get drunk that doesn't want to get drunk. So I mean, how are you gonna force somebody to do X, Y, or Z in the game if they don't want to?
Well, that's one of the things when I'm on stream is I don't always try to make sure that when I'm trying to talk to somebody, I'm not trying to push an agenda on somebody or force them or tell them they're bad at what they're doing or how they're doing it is wrong. You know, so that's definitely one thing. You know, people's got their own way of playing, and if they're having fun, then go for it. I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing I agree. You know, I got someone, you know, they come in, they go, oh, I've been playing the game 10 days. So I talk to them, I get a gauge of where they're at, and they're like, oh, I started with Gaelic. And then there's 4 people in the chat like, oh, just restart, pick a new account and start with Kale. And I'm like, well, no. You know, that if that may be the best way to start is with a Kale, that's fine. I started with Gaelic. I had the best time of my life.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't start with a champion doesn't mean you can't enjoy the game. You know, someone might go Kale and then they're like get Lightsworn from the content creator code or whatever, and Lightsworn is their favorite champion. They take it to 6-star first. You can't tell them that's not how to play the game.
Yeah.
Jay, you've been quiet for a while. Let's go.
Yeah, you help a lot of people.
What do you specific? Because we talked about
we talked about a lot. Let's go.
Yeah. What do you want me to put my input on? Which one?
Yeah, whichever one you want. Shoot. Return on investment. How about that?
Do you think people are playing the game how they want to play the game, or do you think they're only following the meta strats?
I'm gonna be honest. Like 80% of the community follows the meta. They don't like. maybe
Do they
75.
enjoy meta? Is the next part of it. You know what I mean? Are they content in having fun with doing meta at that time?
I think it becomes a society. It almost becomes a societal thing because I've noticed if they don't build meta, they don't want to be judged by other raiders. Oh, you built that champion? That's not a meta champion. You're not smart for doing that. You know, like me, I'm the opposite. Like when I played card games, that's all I did was anti-meta. Whatever the meta was, I found the counter to it. I got enjoyment in doing that. I like to prove people wrong, especially when they don't believe me or trust me. I'm just like, you gotta trust. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm caring. I'm the one that's min-maxing and putting all that time. That's what gets me playing the game. So when people are like, no, you gotta build this, not a good champ. I'm like, all right, cool. Then I'm gonna show you that it is a good champ. But for people, yeah, that's how I feel. Is that most people go for that, and I totally understand because they want the best of the best. If you're gonna invest your time into this game, you want the biggest ROI. Like you want the best champ. I see why people are pulling, why people spend. I understand. I totally get it. I cry too when I don't have, I still don't have Brogni. He's not even a void champion. I'm still sad that I don't have him. But hey, I'm still gonna push. I'm not gonna stop playing. That's my feelings in terms of that.
No, that was good. That was good. That's exactly what I was expecting. But yeah, like let's talk a little bit more about anti-meta. Like, what is your definition of anti-meta?
Okay, so anti-meta would be like there's no right or wrong in terms of because just like Chosen, Soda Dragon Gaming, a lot of people have said you should never never blindly copy someone's build, right? Because then you won't learn what you're doing. You're gonna be like, I don't get it, right? And then you might wonder maybe in a comp like, hey, I copied them, but it's not working. It's like, well, did you look at speed tunes or something? But you should never copy someone's build. And two, just because a champion might not be high on someone's tier list or most people's tier list does not mean the champion's trash, right? I've been fully invested into Attila. I fully invest into a Vlad. I have champions that people would say that's not even worth booking, not even worth gearing. And I have them. Fully mastered, fully booked, and I've used them in hard Doom Tower. Like 70 plus. They might not be usable, maybe 100 plus unless I put my best gear, but they're still usable. That's the whole point. Right? My investment still comes back to me. I'm still able to use and not only build and have fun with the champs. So that's something I would say in terms of in terms of that. But
So since you mentioned something about Tila, right? If I can cut in on this one, so is it still the understanding of the community that Tila is the worst legendary in the game, right?
No,
No.
I think the new voided one takes the spot easily. Jing Wong, yeah,
yeah, he's pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
The thing with Tila is, right? She might not be good. There's no doubt. She might not be nearly as good as a lot of other ones. But she's got what is it, an AoE HP burn? How good is that? Right? She's got AoE leech. Well, I don't know if her HP burn is AoE. It might not be. I'm not sure.
She has an AoE leech, and I think she has a shield or something like that.
She steal buffs. Doesn't she steal buffs on her A1?
Yes, she steals buffs on the A1. She can actually steal 2. A2 is a single target hit that's max that puts an HP burn, and the A3 is and A3 is an AoE leech that puts heal reduction as well. 100%.
Right, that's not a bad kit for our Doom Tower. That is not a bad kit for Hydra. For people that don't have the big champions, you're not gonna have. Not everybody's gonna have all of them. Yes, the person that just mentioned, I used Tila to steal counterattack. I have went against Attila on one of my accounts. She was level 50, and I put up counter. What was it? I wasn't paying attention to my team. I had Skull Crusher and Tower on the team. She stole block damage and the counterattack. She almost killed me before I could finally get her down. A little level 50 Tila. If she would have been level 60, I was screwed. But when Mischief gets out there and starts stealing buffs, I mean, she can rip them off with her A1. She can go steal them off of whoever you want the buffs to stay off of. She might not be the best, but don't be always discouraged because you didn't get the top of the tier champions. These champions have uses. They can be good. Like most legendaries are better than what you have in rares or such. So yeah.
I feel I don't want to keep harping on about Teela like we all are, but someone arguably 116 in Doom Tower hard is the hardest wave. Arguably, I'm going to leave it at that so we don't get involved in that. But I know someone who used Teela for the AOE. What is it? You
HP
can't
burn?
heal
Or the
reduction.
Heal reduction. Mm-hmm.
So they used the heal reduction against the Siphi wave, and that was the only way that they could kill it. They eventually did it. It was like a 24-minute timer, but he's like, I did it.
Yeah,
And then everyone just come at him and was like, why didn't you just seer nuke? And he's like, I don't have seer. And everyone's like, nah, just do seer. It's like, but you don't always have to go seer meta. Like,
yeah. I've beat all 3 of the Doom Towers, hard Doom Towers, and I haven't had seer at all.
exactly. See,
I
but
just
everyone would
pulled
just
her-
tell you to use seer.
Yeah. So I only pulled her 2 weeks ago. It took me 3 years to get this lady. And so this is the first Doom Tower right now that I'm on that I've ever used a seer comp to get through it.
But let's talk about when you actually pull the meta champion, the cream of the crop. Let's just say when
Ace,
Jay,
I think you can start with that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Ace has the first say on this one. He's kind of only pulled like the top 15 champions in the whole game, like all 15 of them in the last 2 months.
I've gotten really lucky. Let's not lie. I have really gotten really lucky. I have 0 of them booked, so that sucks. I don't have any of them geared. I am playing the whole stupid Wait Shadow Legends, which is gonna have to wait another 2 weeks. Blah blah blah. You know, I can continue on, but at the same time, I'm not gonna stop my progression just because I have to play that whole Wait Shadow Legends game. But the champions that I have pulled, ridiculous champions that I have pulled in the last 2 months. Actually, Krisk is 5 months. Solus, Kymar was yesterday. I pulled Kymar.
It's not been 5 months for Chris, by the way.
It has been.
It was right before the Chris tournament because I pulled my Hedgie at the
So
same
when was
time.
that? 4 months? We're in May.
2 months?
Okay.
There was
so 3
a
months.
10x for Krisk in November, if that was the one you did.
I
No,
believe
there's
that's the one that I did.
After. There's another one right before the Chris tournament, and I pulled a Hedgie on it instead. I promise. It was like 2 months ago.
But sadly, I can't book these champs. I can't book all of the champs. I can book one champ, but I won't be able to book all of them. As far as gear goes, I tried to do it earlier today, and I can only maybe gear one champ out of all of them. But that's my own problem, my own issue, that kind of stuff. We're talking about 3 months that I have top tier champs that I cannot actually do anything with. I actually can pull Lydia right now, which is another amazing champ, and I can't do anything with her either because I got to do. It's just too much all at the same time. But I will get to it. There's no doubt about it. I will get to it for sure. It's just a matter of re-evaluating what I need to do, where I need to do it, how I need to do it, and just get on it. Like that's my own thing. It'll probably take me maybe another month tops, building chickens, building whatever, getting books, yada yada yada. It's a lot of stuff. And then let's just say I pull more shards and pull another amazing champ. But anyways, the whole point is now I have these guys sitting in the back, sitting on the burners, right? I have the hype that I actually have these champs, and I want to build them. I was so happy. I mean, I literally just stopped everything that I did when I pulled Kymar. It was amazing. I can't express that feeling. So I want to actually ask you, I know O'Toole, you have a Hedgie. Like, how did you feel when you pulled that Hedgie?
All right. Well, it was about 4:30 in the morning. I woke up middle of the night and I was like, I'm gonna pull my shards. I'm like sitting there half on. I got it on my phone in bed. Or no, I was actually on the pooper. And I jumped up. I was jumping around, pants around my ankles, the whole nine. I almost tripped. It was great. I was like, I just pulled a fucking Hedgie, my second Void Lego ever. And my first one was a blind seer, and I went to pity for her. So
My first was Blind Seer too.
yeah, and then I pulled Hedgie 20 shards later during the Chris 10x. I was like, oh, I gotta let go into the 10x. No way. I only had 10 shards, so I was like, woo! I was super stoked. Like, that was one of the coolest things. And then during the Kaimar 2x 10x, I pulled my first Duchess, and same situation. Jumping up 4:30 in the morning on the toilet, the whole nine, like just jumping around, you know what I mean? Talk about shit in your pants. But you know, like when you pull the champ that you just like you didn't think you wanted, you know what I mean? Because you didn't think about it at the time, or you just like you wanted other champions, you thought they would be better, and then you pull a Soulless and you're like, you know, like you get those moments. It's great, you know what I mean? It gives you that great rush, and it makes you want to just dive right back into the game and be like, I want to build him right now. Like, you gotta glad I saved my bruise, you know, and shit like that. So it's a great feeling, and I think it makes you want to continue playing the game, you know what I mean? And that's where I think champions like Ninja were really good for the game, because you had a lot of people not get hung up in the first 2 months of the game, right? So the very first like power hike you get, you know, trying to get into Dragon 16 and then into 20, you'll lose 20% of the players right there. You know what I mean? They won't get there. They won't pull a champion to do spiders, so they can't get any accessories. Well, now we know you only need to do stage 10 for a minute, and you can get some main stat banners and stuff like that and work your way up to Dragon 20 pretty easily. But like you'll have people just burn out on that. So I think having champions that are accessible to people, either that be fusions, login champions, or, you know, guaranteed champion events through shard events, I think we should have more of them, and that doesn't mean you need to do all of them either.
Well, let's talk more about pulls, like amazing pulls. I mean, I love what you're saying. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I want to hear Lutha. I want to hear Lutha, and then I want to hear Cheap, and then Jay. Like, tell me about the most amazing pulls that you guys have had, like the ones that made you like jump out of your seat, like just go crazy. If it was for you, or for your account, or for somebody else's, just let us know.
There's probably 4 that come to mind. 3 for me and 1 for someone else. So I think the biggest pull for me was Trunda. And I remember I was home alone. I was in the kitchen cooking dinner, and the event just started. I was like, alright, cool. I'll just pop one Sacred, and I popped it. And she ran out, and I just dropped to the floor. I'm like screaming. The chicken's on the fry pan, and it's burning. But Trunda was like the big one. And then I pulled Kaimar and Hedgie both on stream, and I screamed into the mic, and my fiance's like, come running in. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. So both of them were very hype. And then I pulled for Snatched. I pulled a Yumiko live on stream for Snatched, and I think that was one of the biggest hype reaction I've seen from the chat in regards to that was the Yumiko. Considering how new she is, and like, you know, she's probably the best legendary in the game, but that rush, you get that rush of adrenaline, and you got a newfound love for the game when you pull something big like that. What about you, Cheap?
Yeah, so I would say my biggest pull ever was Valkyrie, and that was 1.5 years into playing. Before having her, I think she was probably in the top 20 Legos that I ever pulled. Like, you know, for fusions, everything completed, I may have had 20 Legos at the time, and she was pulled on Father's Day in 2021. Was it? I do believe. Maybe it's 2020. Yeah, I started in February 2019. So yeah, 2020. So about a year and a half into the game, pull Valkyrie, and she gave me Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. I couldn't do it before then. I only recently got a Man Eater, and I've only recently went to a Demethea comp, so I've always used a non unkillable team up till now. But the pull was done by my son. We were sitting in my little guard shack because I was at work, and they, her and my kid came up. My girl and my kid, they showed up to say hello and hang out with me for a few minutes, and their gift to me was a Father's Day pack. And so it was purchased, and my son goes and pulls the shards while I'm not watching, and he goes, "Cool, she's got a cool looking helmet on, Daddy." And I turn around, there's Valkyrie on the screen. I'm like, holy shit, that's the most awesome. Oh my God, I really want her. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And my girl's sitting there thinking the whole time, oh, he's playing this off good, making the little boy feel good about what he did. She had no clue of how good she was, right? So that, but I now have over 110 legendaries. Like, that champion just skyrocketed my account because of all the shards I began getting from Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. So she was the big turning point for me. So definitely the best pull on my account. So, and that's it. In my opinion, whatever champion gets your clan boss up and going better, that is the biggest thing for a newer account.
Right.
So
I'm waiting to hear yours, Jay, because I know you got a lot of amazing champs that you want to share with us.
Yeah, I have a lot of ups and downs with champs, but I think my most hype moment, because I wasn't pulling a lot of voids at the time, it'd have to be the time I pulled 2 Legos in the same 10 pull, and this was during my first year of playing Raid. Like, Chosen was pretty popping off. Hell Hades just got a camera, and I remember I was like, yeah, it's gonna be hype. Yeah. And I'm pulling my shards, and I'm like, man, like, this is when I'm stuck at Dragon 16, which, by the way, if I had the information that I had now, or what I know in Raid, I could have easily got to stage 20 like this. But I'm still farming 16, thinking like, if only I had that, like, I had that mentality like people have nowadays, right? If only I had a good Lego, I could get to 20 and be like everybody else and farm. This is back before there's 25s and stuff. So I'm recording a video because I've been doing YouTube for maybe like 2-3 months for Raid, but not in the content creation program. And I'm like pulling shards, and I'm like, my last 10. I pull a battle and a robar, and I literally, my chair like fell down. I jumped back, and then I came back into the cam like, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was just like, what the? Because, dude, Bad L, Chosen was already talking about how broken, Bad L was soloing Dragon 20 at the time. So, like, well, not the time, but, like, it just, people knew that the potential of, the champion carried my whole count. Like, literally, I had Elder Skarg and Valkyrie and other little small things, but nothing insane. That one champion, like, Clan Boss, everything just, like, it just went boom. And then after that, he just supported everybody else, like the epics or Legos I built. It was just nuts. It was crazy. I've had some cool pulls too as well that are pretty hype, where I fall back or something like that. Like, but like with that one time, one of my Twitch clips where I'm like in a little tub and I literally fall and it looks like I died from the pull. Yeah, that one was pretty good too. But that was one of my fight that I'll never forget. Because I've never got another double pull or triple pull. I wish I ever got. I've seen people get triples, but personally that was super hype for me.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and show this clip because people are requesting it. But yeah, here's my pull, guys. I just wanted a Geo.
Kaiden.
I was happy for a Kaiden or an epic. This is on my account, by the way, guys.
Oh shit! Oh fuck!
I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. Yeah. It was
I sent you a.
It was huge.
Pic, by the way.
It was huge. and I enjoyed it, and I liked it, and I really had fun with it. But yeah, the feeling that you get just from being able to pull something so amazing, you know. All right.
So, how do you feel about the worst pulls that you ever get? Like,
Oh man.
We don't have. There's not enough time on the podcast for that one.
Yeah, I will say a
But, like,
recent run.
you
Just as
even
just as
tell
a
people?
oh yeah, absolutely. And I'll happily tell you guys this. So recently, Potato has been on my stream, right, guys? He was in the last podcast. Potato was pulling for somebody. He felt this was during the 2 times guaranteed legendary or whatever, second legendary. You get 2 free ones or 1 free one off of pulling one off of sacreds, right? So I ended up I felt bad because he ended up pulling a Pixneo for somebody, guys, a Pixneo, and yeah, I felt bad. I really felt bad. So I ended up I didn't have any more shards. I think I had 6 or maybe 4. I ended up spending them early in the morning. Didn't even think about streaming it. So I just kind of popped them and just whatever. And then I was like, I didn't get shit, just a bunch of food, right? But then he pulled a Pixneo, and I was like, fuck, man. He's a new streamer, literally less than a month, maybe less than 2 months as a streamer. Very knowledgeable guy. And the first shard pulls that he's doing, he gets a fucking Pixneo. Yikes, right? And so I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm gonna go ahead and buy this sacred that I don't recommend everybody else to buy string pack. And I did it, and I was like, pull my shards. Do it so that way you can redeem yourself. He pulls me a dupe Brago, which I'm not complaining about, and a second Pixneo on his stream.
Oh my god.
Damn.
That wasn't the end of it. He goes on somebody else's account and pulls a third Pixneo. So if you want a guaranteed Pixneo, yeah, then go to Potato. Absolutely.
If you want a Fushan, go to my wife.
There you go.
So that's a little bit of a story too. So, I've had the wrong reaction about Fushan twice now. I feel like, right? While back, I let her pull my shard. She pulls Fushan. It was a 10x, and there was a 10x for Fushan and somebody else, and I wanted whoever the other person was. Didn't get them. I think it was Vizier. Ended up with Fushan. I was upset about it. Turns out, no, he's actually really fucking good, right? And I loved him ever since. Then later on, she pulls me a second Fushan. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't need a second one. This is way before the dupe system ever came out. Stage 25 dungeons weren't out. And I built the second Fushan to solo Dragon 20, and I started soloing Dragon 20 with that. So both times I had the wrong reaction, I felt like. And now one of the Fushans does speed running Minotaur and potion keeps, and the other one is in Clan Boss. So, wrong reaction both times to pulling Fushan. And he's, in my opinion, really, really great dungeon champion, Clan Boss champion, so. But I also sent you a picture of my that pull I did a while back for Chris.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up without messing up the stream, but I already did it. But go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, popped up Leorius.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's all
Your alt? Isn't that your alt that got
Yeah.
Leorius? And then you got it on your main or something like that?
Yeah, right afterwards. How is that possible? On a 10x Krisk, I log in on one account, I pull Leorius. I log in onto a different account and pull Leorius.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I just basically put them in the same chat room. That's the channel that I'm in is the base Saffron's community channel that we try to use. So I try to pull my shards there so they can see. So yeah, they both were in the same channel. It's just like, wow. So 2 Leoriuses at the same time. So
Dude, that picture should be an NFT. Sheesh. You know how rare that is. The math behind that. Jesus.
And
So-
neither account had more than like 15 shards, if that. So
How lucky. Good lord. What's your worst pull, Jay?
Oh, I'll never forget it. DIY was there. I pulled 12 sacred shards, and I had saved them for so long. I already had this champion, and this is where me becoming the infamous eater of Legos, because I was so mad that I pulled 12 of them. I don't get my last shard. I get a Pixnail. I'm like, are you crazy? I just went for the fusion. And I didn't get nothing else in the whole game except for this specific champion again. I was so mad, dude. I saved those 12 Sacreds for a long time, too. I think I even put $30 into the game in the monthly pack to get an extra 1 or 2, but I was just so like, I was like, that's crazy. And other people are pulling like 3 Legos. This was during a 2x. I was just like, wow. But, yep, but she's gone now, so I don't have to deal with her, the dupe version.
Easy.
I think my worst pull. I have pulled 2 Pixnails. I didn't even do the fusion event, and I've got 2 Pixnails. But I think the worst moment for me was my 3rd Vergum car, and I didn't do the fusion for him either. That was probably my worst moment. It was at that moment I was like, I can't justify buying shards ever again. 3 of the sausage dog.
3 sausage boys.
Yeah.
You barely need 1.
Bro, I didn't even use 1 to finish Faction Wars. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You barely need 1.
it was bad. That was really bad.
Oh man, easily my worst pulls. It was during the Kaimar 2x 10x. I pulled 400 shards and got a Gerda and a Cleo. And
Yeah, that's bad.
yeah, and I clearly don't have them from the login yet, so I'm gonna get them again. And I put Cleo into my faction war teams. Lost a minute on every stage. I went from 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Like, dude, she's so bad. I was so pissed when I pulled her too. I basically quit right there. It was terrible. Oh. Do you guys think shards are what make people quit the most?
I do think, well, I don't think it makes them quit the most, but I think they quit for the shortest amount of time after them. Because there's a lot of people that say, fuck this, I quit, and pick it up, the next day or a few hours later.
Right.
It's the same thing I heard in casinos. Oh, I'm never coming back to that casino again. Y'all are cheaters, blah, blah, blah. And they're back the next day. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, so worst pulls. I have another funny one here. So back when let's see, first set of shards that first set of legendaries I ever got, it went Robar, Alton, Ghostborn, and then I had this funny little section where it went Black Knight, Longbeard, Black Knight, Longbeard, and that was the only legendaries I had at the time. Just what I needed, a dupe Black Knight and a dupe Longbeard right after pulling both of them.
You barely need the first ones.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's terrible.
and I pulled 4 Black Knights. So my last Black Knight, I'd actually started recording a video, right? I had all these sacreds, like I think what he was saying. I probably had like 12 sacreds or something. It was a 2x, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to actually do a video for this. Since I'm just now starting out on YouTube. This is back in January, right when I was first trying to start up stuff. And so I'm going to do a shard pull video. It should be fun. And I pull all of the shards, and the last one comes up. It's my 4th Black Knight. So yeah, well, I'm walking away from this one. This fucking video ain't coming out because I just started cussing. I pull another Black Knight. I'm fucking +4 in him. I don't give a shit about them Vaxxon Guardians. I am memeing the fuck out of that bastard.
Oh yeah, it's that or you run 5 Black Knights for the secret room.
Oh man, yeah. So. Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the mystery shard conspiracy? Are we legitimate? or conspiracies in Raid. Do you guys think the coding's true? You know, do you think we're getting rigged from the inside? It's just a yes or no. We don't need to go into specifics.
I don't really think so. No, I personally don't. But
I don't either. But the
Nah.
tinfoil hat's fun to wear sometimes.
yeah. I don't think the shard. And the reason why I don't think so is you can look at the epics when pulling. Sure, the legendaries don't show nearly as much, but when you pull on a 2x, if you saved up a whole bunch of shards, if you were to pull them on not a 2x, compared to when you pull them on a 2x, a lot more epics pop up than it wasn't, you know, if it wasn't a 2x. So,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. And I think that's where you really see it. So,
I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
Think it's funny.
I did show your screenshot, by the way, Cheap.
yeah, thank you.
Hurricane is your alt account. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it is
Hurricane
now an
followed by
account
Cheap.
that I'm not even. Yeah, I'm actually just finally decided to quit that account. I just don't have time for three accounts. So it's the one getting dropped. So there's a Leorius account with nobody playing it for now.
Wow. Well, let's finish this off by first of all thanking you guys, number one, for joining us. I know it's a little hectic, at times, but this was actually a fun topic. I really did enjoy just freestyle talking this conversation. I believe we had more fun after last streams or last roundtables topic than we did on the actual topic itself. And so that's kind of the vibe that I wanted to bring on this topic. And I mean, I think we accomplished that tonight. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Do you guys have anything that you guys would like to add? Any other shout outs that you guys want to add? And then of course we'll end with I guess a sayonara to Stu Gaming.
I just want to say, Ace, go fuck yourself.
Oh, he's straight out of there.
Yikes. Okay.
Don't bring him back ever.
I meant to, try to start up a little topic of buffs and stuff, but I guess we went a little longer than I expected. I didn't even know we went an hour and a half. That's pretty cool. So, but I did want to mention real quick about shadow nerfs in the game. There's something I just noticed the other day. Yeah, the other day. And I know it's a fix. This was a fix and not an actual nerf. Black Knight's kit does not say that he can place provoke on weak hits. He has been placing provoke on weak hits for years. I found this out a long time ago, and I used him against more twos in the Doom Tower. I've told some people about it, but it was true, and I had pictures of it. I could probably find pictures of it on my phone somewhere from a year ago. But when I read the new Fusions kit, I said, oh, that's cool. Black Knight already does that. And I went in and attempted to do it. And I spent like 15 minutes and I got tons of weak hits and never provoked on a weak hit. So it got changed, and I get it. It's a fix, right? But in a way, it's still kind of like a shadow nerf to him. Because in my opinion, even if it is a fix, it should be something they let us know about. I don't know how long ago it's been changed. So I could have been giving out wrong information for a while without realizing that he doesn't do it anymore, because they never come out and said, oh, this was happening, and that's one of the things the company, that I don't really like. If you're going to make a change towards a champion, you need to let people know what the change is and why it's being made. So, like, I'm not mad about the change. I'm mad about the idea that they didn't say anything when they did it. So.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I believe they're going to do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it, regardless of the fact. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, anything else that you guys want to add other than go fuck yourself?
Just to close off for me personally, this
Sure.
is going to be another great year, I think, personally. They've been focusing on champions with unique passives, right? The fact that Gaius Opardin have really unique passives. Gerda, we're not going to talk about Cyan. Now Cleopteryx that's different with Hex. I hope they make Hex better. Hopefully, Real Time Arena. There's a lot of people who might look at it this way and be like, "Hey, man, raid takes too much time." If you don't have the time to play the game, just play it at your pace. You don't have. It's not a rat race, Like you don't have to go crazy because everyone else is going crazy. Do it. If you're free to play and you can only enjoy what you can enjoy, just enjoy the game for what it is. You don't have to enjoy what people are doing and what they're doing. If someone wants to whale and Kraken and they come up to me telling me why I don't have certain champ or why I'm not doing, seer comp or why I'm not, I go, cause I don't, that's not how I play Ray. I do anti-meta. So, just, that's all I can say to the player base is, I really do think it's going to be another great year. Hopefully, there's not going to be anything else like the first year with the whole Draco Gate and bad PvP and then Doom Tower got, behind. I think it's going to be more new bosses. Maybe they're going to release the Hydra, another head, and hopefully maybe they might adjust it, make it easier. Who knows? I'm really hyped for the new year and new champions, and even if they're not OP or over, top tier, as long as their kit brings something new to the game, or at least allow other comps or things that were not as good like bombs now be good again, then I think that it's worth the time. That's why I went crazy for guys.
Yeah, they need to also stop buffing or basing a kit really so much off of the passive. And what I mean by that is take 2 champions that were buffed recently. It's been a while for King Garog, but he was buffed. But the most recent one being an Neathwy. Why does the Neathwy hit so light? And it's probably, my opinion is because of the block revive passive. They're scared of him to hit too strong when the passive shouldn't be that big of a factor. That should be that's his signature. He should be having a 4+ multiplier instead of that low ass multiplier he's got. Why did Cleopteryx get, what has she got, a 4.2, 4.6, something like that, and he's got a 3.8 or 3.9? Why is hers so much higher than his and he's a void legendary? Well, it's because he block revives on his passive. So why can't we
I think every champ
give him the multiplier?
Yeah, every champ should be unique, regardless of the situation.
Yeah. So
they should bring more uniqueness.
And if you look at King Garog, right? He's got a pretty decent kit, but he just doesn't hit hard enough. Well, go read his passive, and he's stacking crit damage for every time he kills a champion in a round. So like, oh shit, well we can't make him too strong because that's going to stack up and he's going to be too overpowered. And it's like, no, that's nothing. Give him damage so that people use him. Because if he's there to do damage and he can't hit as hard as other champions, then he's not going to get picked. So yeah, that's kind of my little spill on it. But at Neathwy was just, I just felt like a kick in the face for anybody that had him, and was hoping for the chance that he was going to be useful. And he is better, and there is something to be said for he can get into teams. But he should be in the top talk of the top 5, and he's not there. So
yeah. What you got, Luther?
I just wanted to end out and sort of agree with JR and the fact of just play the game how you want to play the game, not how everyone tells you to play the game. That's probably just the big thing for me is you can do whatever you want in Raid. Like there's so much variety, it's not even funny. So if you want to go anti-meta, go anti-meta. If you want to go meta, go meta. Don't play the game a certain way because old mate down the road tells you to play the game a certain way. That's probably just the big thing for me.
Cool. I like it.
And also, thanks for the invite, my boy.
Hey, not a problem, man. Not a problem. I believe that ends it on, guys. I will go ahead and close it off. Once again, thank you guys for being here today. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys included in the cast as well as Twitch. And like I said before, go ahead and support us any way that you guys can. Much love, guys. Peace.
Much love.
Later, man.